Hello, this is Teresa. I am back with this Advent Calendar project for the Rinea blog and YouTube channel, and I'll be sharing how I created this. I'm using some extra thick craft foam because these are going to form the little squares that the numbers will go on. So I'm just dividing this into 2-inch wide strips, and the ruler I'm using happens to be exactly 2 inches wide, so that makes this pretty easy to do. And then I'll take an X-Acto knife and cut these apart. This is a specialized ruler. It's made by My Sweet Petunia, the maker of the Misty, and it has a slit in the center of it that allows you to more easily cut straight lines like I'm needing to do on this particular project. And as you can see, I've put some purple tape onto the ruler so that it doesn't move around while I'm trying to cut a straight line. And I'll just repeat this process until I have cut out all these strips. And then once I've done that, I'm going to further divide each one of those strips into 2-inch portions, and then I'll cut those apart. So I have 12 of these when I'm done. So I also have pre-cut 4 by 4 inch squares of the Ruby Starstruck foil, and I'm going to be wrapping these around each one of these squares and using some tape to secure them to the back. Now at first I just tried to fold them over the edge, but I didn't like the way that looked on the front, so I ended up changing my approach here and wrapping it more like a little gift present, which you'll see when I turn over the next one and glue that down into place. So here you can see how I modified my approach. And I'm just using some double-sided adhesive tape to secure the paper down. And now I've glued down all the numbers, and I did cut out the number 1 and 2 twice so that I could get the date, the 11 days and 22 days out of this complete number set. I am separating some paper clips because they're going to be the magnet that will cling to the metal that will cling to the magnet that I'm going to put on the background on my calendar, so it will make more sense shortly. Now, these paper clips have just enough metal in them that they will stick very easily to the background. And I've already pre-cut some pattern paper and put that down in my frame without the glass. And I've arranged all my die cut letters. And in order, before I glue them in place, I want to pick them up, and I have some press and seal. And as you can see, some of the letters moved a little bit, but this at least gets them enough in place that I can flip the paper over and just kind of finesse the arrangement here before adding glue to the back and gluing it down to the paper. And one thing you will see is I messed up my A, and I had it facing the wrong direction and didn't even notice it until I was about to glue the whole thing down. So I ended up removing it and die cutting that letter one more time and just individually gluing it back on later. The other thing that I will be doing after gluing these letters down is getting my magnets prepared. Now, all I had in my craft room was some really teeny tiny magnets, and I had some magnetic tape. Now, magnetic tape is not very strong by itself, so I found it was going to work better if I could kind of combine the two of them. Now, another thing that you could do to attach your numbers would be possibly something like using Velcro or anything that you have in your craft room that allows you to attach and unattach without having to glue something down permanently. So now I'm adding my liquid glue to the back of each one of the letters, and then I will carefully turn that over and line it up over the pattern paper where I want it to be, and then press the letters in place. And I do let them sit, I let the wrapping paper, not wrapping paper, but the press and seal sit there long enough to allow the letters to remain secure. So since you do have them stuck to this paper, it does help a lot with doing the lining up. And this is just the kind of thing that I love using press and seal for, because it sure helps a lot. And then you can even slide things down even with the press and seal there. And as you can see, this is where I talked about removing the A that I glued on the wrong side, so I had to die cut that one again, and I just glued it down later. Now here's the magnet that I used. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to do yours like I did. I also attempted to use some score tape to glue those down, and it wasn't sticking very well to that magnetic tape, so I ended up using liquid adhesive to attach these magnets instead of that double-sided adhesive tape. I just didn't include that in the video shot. You see I'm kind of struggling trying to get to stay there, and it just didn't work. So now that I've done that part, now I can easily swap out my numbers and start my countdown from, I guess, whatever point I want to start it down from. Thank you so much for watching today. Here are a couple of other videos that may interest you, and I'll see you next time.